Hey Libra, this is going to be your November mid-month reading for Sun, Moon and Ascendant Libras, whichever you may be, maybe even cross-watchers, if there are any of you lurking around out there. Excuse me. If you don't know what your Moon and Ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. I'll put a link down there that will help you. What else? If you want to get in touch for a personal reading, there's an email address in the description box also, along with my social media information. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Scorched Earth Tarot, so come join the little community I'm building over in those places. I'd love to have you. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I've been so humbled by how swiftly the channel is growing. It's been humbling, to say the least. And also extremely gratifying, because the reason I started this channel was to try and reach out to as many people as possible. I want to help people. So, yes, can't do it without you. Thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope that you find something here for you, and do consider subscribing, because, you know, of all the reasons that I just laid out. Right, what else do I have to tell you? I think that's it, actually. This is my first month having a go at mid-months rather than the generals that I've been doing for the last wee while. So I haven't really settled on a format for it yet, but I'm trying this to see how it goes. It seems to be working quite well at the moment, so I may or may not change it for the month of December, and when we get through to mid-December anyway. So I'm pulling 3 cards. There's going to be a snapshot of your energy right now, you know, where you're sat. And then we're going to have a look at what's coming up for you in the last 2 weeks of November, and finally pull some advice cards and see if we can't ease the way for you a little bit over those 2 weeks. So, with all that being said, sorry, a ghost who keeps opening doors, and I was just wondering if it was going to make an appearance, but it's not, so that's fine. So, can I have 3 cards? Ooh, that one flew out. Queen of Swords. That's the Libra Queen right there. 3 cards for Libra. Got the Lovers, needing to make a choice about something. Sat in an energy of needing to make a choice. It's also the card of Gemini, if that's important. One more card for Libra, please. Hermit. Hermit's been coming out for a lot of people in the mid-months, interestingly. So, where you are right now is sitting very solidly in your energy, and I like to see that. I like to see people presenting strongly in their own readings, and you being Libra, I absolutely would not expect anything less. The Queen of Swords is a very just energy. She's very preoccupied with things being right or wrong. There isn't really a grey area with this Queen. She cuts out bullshit. She doesn't suffer fools gladly at all. She's very fair. Some people say she's quite cold, but she's not. She's logical. She's intellectual. She's very smart. And whether you're male or female, it doesn't really matter. You know, the energy is the same. Well, the energy is not the same between the masculine and the feminine. But in terms of whether this applies to a man or a woman, it's the feminine aspects of that energy that we're looking at here. I'm just going to pull another card because I'd like to know what you're standing there for. What the 5 of Swords. This isn't a fun card, this one. This is a card of being, well, it's 5, so it's change and it's conflict and it's uncomfortable. Usually 5 energy generally is, but there are 3 characters depicted in this card, and 2 of them have put down their swords and they've walked away, and the final character is holding, you know, multiple swords, and he's looking pretty smug with the whole situation. And the idea is that these people that have put down their swords and walked away have understood the fact that they have more to lose by continuing to fight with this character here, whoever it is, than if they just cut the losses and move away now. You know, this is someone who will say anything to win the argument. Swords, so it's communication and logic and stuff. You might be dealing with someone who's a bit verbally dexterous, or a bit of a verbal gymnast, rather. This actually came out in Capricorn's reading, Five of Swords. So, Libra, are you the person in green being the verbal gymnast, or are you the person who's putting down your sword and walking away? Can I have one more card for that, please? Card for the Queen of Swords. I've got the Nine of Cups. That's really interesting because that's a card of wish fulfillment. You know, that's a card of achieving that thing that you always dreamt of. I'm drawn to the fact that the yellow of that card there is very similar to the yellow in this character here. Feeling like you need to turn your back on something that you thought would be very fulfilling, but is turning out not to be the case. Oh, interesting. And then we come to the second card, which is the first of the major arcana that appears on the table here. It's card number 6. It's the card of Gemini. So it's air, like you. But it talks about making a choice. Right? Originally, it was depicted as having a man with 2 women, and he had to pick between the women. But, you know, I don't think this is a love or relationship reading because I don't tend to be drawn to that kind of thing. For me, it's always a choice. So why is the Lovers here for Libra? Right. So we've got the card of the happy home. You know, it can sometimes mean wedding, but it talks about celebrations in the home. You know, it's celebrations of the home. And that's why it comes to mean wedding, because it's 2 people setting up a home together, and it's a cause for celebration. You go and join with them, family and friends, to take part in that, to celebrate with those people. Why is it a choice? What else do we need to know here about the Lovers, please? You know, perhaps you're being invited to a wedding and you don't know whether to attend. Then I would imagine there's some sort of family politic going on around it. Who knows? The Nine of Cups and the Four of Wands are very positive cards, both of them. They're both cause for celebration, and yet you are not. And yet you are sat in your energy of sniffing out bullshit. You know, on the bottom of the deck, we've got the Five of Cups, and then underneath it, we've got the Eight of Swords. There's something about your family situation which you thought would be very fulfilling, but it's not. And I feel like it's because of this character here. This is the character that's giving you some issue. Can I have a card now, please? There we go. Page of Wands. So it could be a Sagittarius that you're dealing with, or it could be a younger person. But although these two here are Wands cards, they're kind of at opposite ends of the spectrum, because the Four of Wands is very static. It's a place or a situation, or you know, a set of people. It has a position in space and time, if you will, right? One position that it sits in, and whether that's you spending time with people that you like, you know, all that kind of thing, it's almost fixed, because it's a 4 and it's secure and it's stable. The Page of Wands is about broadening your horizons and moving on out. You know, it can imply travel. That's absolutely the case, you know, but he's very excited about going off and experiencing the rest of the world. It's not about the job that he's doing, it's what he gets to see and experience while he's doing it. And so we have here 2 cards that are sitting at either end of the spectrum, static and moving, and a choice that's being called to make between the 2 of them. Interesting. Where is the Hermit here, please? The Ace of Cups. Where is the Hermit here? And the Page of Pentacles. But the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck, it's another card of having to make a choice. The Hermit is the second of the major arcana out on the table, and it's the card of Virgo, but it's a card of deep introspection. It's you know, this chap's got it's got a wand actually. It's all a flame there. And the received wisdom of the Hermit is that all the answers to anything that you could ever need to know actually reside within you. It's not external to you in any way. There's no point in going to speak to other people about this, because actually it's all inside. You just need to dig around and find it. And then we have these two cards. Now, all aces are beautiful, but the Ace of Cups is particularly beautiful. It's cup runneth over. You know, it's having a deep, profound love for someone, something, you know, yourself even sometimes. It's a gift from God, universe, source, whoever. You notice how it's coming out of the sky. You know. It can sometimes come to mean children, you know, pregnancy and birth and that sort of thing. Because it's new, it's the beginning of a thing. Take it as it resonates to you. But then we've got the Page, and for me, the Page of Pentacles, who has also been making a lot of appearances in these mid-monthlies. It's a card of somebody who knows the value of something, like, but I feel it's often that he's only just discovered the value of something, because it's right at the bottom of the court hierarchy. You know, you've got the Knight and the King and the Queen above. And this Page knew nothing of this pentacle until the moment when he went and picked it up and looked at it, and it was the most beautiful thing in his life. He's sometimes a student, you know, he's got a real studious personality, someone who's very diligent and very fastidious. So both of these things together speak to me of a new thing. But then why is it coming out underneath the Hermit? Because, and why is it coming up with a choice? You know, it seems like you're having to do a bit of soul searching about something. We've got a fairly unsavoury character over here who's tainted your 9 cups somewhat. We've got a choice being made about going off and starting new things, starting new adventures and all these kind of things. And then the home here. And then we've got deep introspection about both the love of something and knowing the value of what that thing is. I have to say this is the least clear-cut of all of the mid-months that I've done so far. It feels a little bit vague to me, but I suspect the energy that I'm connecting with is going to know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, the Four of Wands together with the Ace of Cups can talk about the celebration, about the birth of a child, you know, between two people. A new family. Anywho, so what's coming towards Libra? We've got the Sun. It's the card of Leo in the Major Arcana. It's number 19, and that can also talk about children. But we'll get to it. What's coming towards Libra in the last 2 weeks of November? Two of Pentacles, that's earth energy, talks about juggling emotions and duties and responsibilities. There's one more card for what's coming towards Libra, please. In the last 2 weeks of November. Judgment. Card of Scorpio. We've got the Eight of Cups. That's about walking away from something that no longer emotionally fulfills you. Bring you back to that. Something that you thought would be emotionally fulfilling and isn't because of whoever that is. So, the Sun. It's an overwhelmingly positive card. It shines a light on the entire reading. It makes everything more positive. It's a beautiful card. It's usually depicting a baby, and that's why I said it sometimes means children. It's a baby on the back of a horse. But this feels more developed. You know, this could still talk about children, but maybe we're talking about older children here. It could be a Leo, that's possible. Whatever it is, it's very positive. Why is the sun here for Libra? Where's the sun here for Libra, actually? Got 4 of Cups. That's interesting. It's a card of missed opportunities or taking things for granted sometimes. Why is the sun here, please? I'm going to put those down because often the cards stop talking when I haven't sufficiently explained the card that's come out before. So I'm going to get that, excuse me. I find it very odd that we've got this card here. It's overwhelmingly positive, the most positive card in the deck, and it's directly underwritten by the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups can be a slightly negative card, really. I mean, this character here sat sulking under a tree. Is completely refusing to look at the cups that are all around. You know, and one wonders whether it's because he thinks he deserves more, he deserves better, or whether he's just having a little strop. You know, this cup being offered out of the sky here next to him is the Ace. He's been offered an opportunity and it's not good enough. Or he's got all of these cups and he takes the presence of the cups for granted and doesn't truly understand how important they are. The fact that it's coming out under the sun makes me think it's something to do with children. Maybe it's children, maybe it's grandchildren, who knows? You fill in the gaps, you'll know better than I. Why is the sun here for Libra, please? All right, it can also talk of ingratitude because because there are opportunities being offered and they're not being taken. They're not being acknowledged for the wonderful gift that they are. There we go. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's absolutely what that means. You just saw tarot in action there. Like, I'm taking this as confirmation that this is the thing. This is to do with children here. Yeah. I quite often interpret this as inner child because that is something that an evolved Leo is absolutely in contact with, and that's why they, you know, they're so much fun to be around. They're really playful. This is child energy, and here we have a character who is refusing this cup. It's refusing what was offered to them by a page, somebody younger potentially. It's a refusal to acknowledge it for the gift that it was. And then we come to the 2 of Pentacles, and as I said, that's Earth energy, but it's about balancing out things, and it's such a stormy scene, this one. You know, those waves are huge, and the ships are rolling around behind, and this person is juggling their duties, their pentacles, the resources and the responsibilities, and managing it quite deftly, actually. But there's a heavy look on this character's face just here. What's coming towards you is some pretty heavily emotional stuff. And you're having to balance that out. Whether these are your emotions or someone else's, it's difficult to tell. But you're trying to maintain a balance between emotions and duties and responsibilities and resources potentially as well. What is it? Oh, we've got the Hermit again. There. So part of what your introspection is maybe working out how much longer you want to be doing this. I mean, it's, like I said, it's a pretty heavy scene. There's a lot of burden here in doing this, and you're still doing it anyway. I have another card for Libra, please. Why is 2 of Pentacles here? Yeah, this is all going on inside you. I don't think any of this is particularly external to you. This storm is raging inside of you, and maybe it's just the Queen of Swords is what you're displaying on the outside, but on the inside, this is the scene that's going on, you know, as confirmed by the Hermit. Deep introspection. And we've got the Six of Swords, which makes me feel like you're going to be considering whether you need to move away from this state. You know, whatever situation you're in, to do with children, that is leaving you in this state here. You're thinking about moving away from it. And that's not actually something that pleases you greatly at all. Right. Final card we've got is Judgment. That's a major arcana. It's a card of Scorpio. Why is Judgment here? Libra. We've got the Emperor. Now, Judgment can mean exactly that. It can be judgment of other people. Maybe your judgment, who knows? It could refer to a Scorpio, but I feel like it's an energy. And it's underpinned by the Emperor, which is the card of Aries. So it could be that there's an Aries involved in here somewhere. Yeah. But the other thing that Judgment talks about is second chances. It's a resurrection of situations that you thought were dead, like relationships that you thought were dead and buried, you know, that you perhaps have not had touch with for a long time. Something about all of this Emperor character is going to reappear for you. But if it's not an Aries, it can talk about you taking control, getting a second opportunity to take control of something. Why is Judgment here, please? And what you're taking control of is maybe the opportunity to move away from this circumstance that is causing you so much inner turmoil at the moment. Oh, you've got two cards there. Yeah, huh. So the way I've turned these around as I've picked them up, we've got the Ten of Swords, which is about betrayal and being hurt by somebody else's words and actions and things. But it's kind of a card of hope as well, because the cards stop at 10, right? 10 is the end of the cycle. From the 10, you go back round to the beginning. You cannot get any lower once you are lying on the shore with 10 swords sticking out of your spine. But you notice how the sun is starting to rise in the background. It's like, you know, the world will keep turning, you know. So the sun rises every morning. It's always darkest before the dawn is something that I always think when I look at this card. And then we've got the Queen of Cups. Now this could be a woman, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, but it could be an energy as well. And this is a very maternal energy. It's a very loving energy. We've got lots of cups here. But she's come out in the reverse. And I don't think that for a second makes her any less loving. But I do feel like it pulls more of the shadow aspect of this woman out. And remember, you know, gender is not a thing. I just say that to keep myself right when I'm looking at the cards. It could be male. I always think that this woman, this energy here, is completely besotted by this cup. You know, she pays no attention to anything else around her. You know, it's unconditional love. And when it turns up that way, I think it's still unconditional love, but I think it moves beyond that. You know, and almost those two cards together speak of quite a suffocating level of love. Demanding and domineering. You know, I think that this one continues to love past, you know, way past the point at which she perhaps could do, without drawing a line in the sand. You know, it borders on obsessional a little bit. And then we've got someone here who, you know, could potentially have control issues, definitely. But this is an end. So maybe there's an end to the unconditional love. We're looking at some sort of triggering event for that, as depicted by judgment, because we've got the children, we've got inner turmoil and reflection and thinking that maybe it's time to move away from whatever this situation is. And then we've got it coming straight back. You know, it's not the only card of leaving things behind that we've got on the table here at the moment. This feels very waffly. I'm sure it'll mean something to someone, but can I have some advice for Libra, please? You've got 3 come out there. Oh, tell you what, tarot really freaks me out sometimes. We've got 5 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. That's about conflict right there. But the cards that have wigged me out are these 2 jumping out together, and this is 10 of Swords and Queen of Cups. This is an end to feeling like this, right? I think somebody is really testing your patience. They're really testing the limits of your love with their behaviour. And we've got the 7 of Pentacles. Lots of readers say this is all about taking stock of your harvest and all that kind of thing, you know. Taking stock of your, you know, what you've put time and effort into, and see if it's worth continuing. But I found it more a card of cutting your losses, actually. Because originally, as it was designed, there was a chap leaning on a hoe and he's looking at this kind of stylized potato plant, but instead of potatoes, or instead of flowers, it's got pentacles, and the leaves were painted brown, and the farmer looked very upset. And it's with subsequent reprintings that those details have been lost and the meaning has been changed. But for me, that meaning makes more sense than any of the others that I've come across. And it's putting loads of effort and resources into something, caring for it and nurturing for it and stuff, and then seeing that what has come up is actually kind of blighted. You know, its pentacles are a bit shriveled, and it's got brown leaves and things like that, you know. And it's sort of asks you to consider how long you're going to keep ploughing resources and time and care and effort and nurturing into a situation before you realise that it's not going to bear the fruit that you're after. You know, before you realise that actually this level of unconditional love that you've been giving needs to end. You know, and if we are talking about a situation that involves both this person here and children, and this level of internal turmoil, then I think that you're absolutely in the right place to be considering all of that. Because there are a lot of swords on this table, and aside from the sword which you brandish here, every single last other one of them implies betrayal or pain or deceitful behaviour, you know, manipulation, all of those kind of things. And I think you need to have a look and take care of yourself first. We've got the Star is at the bottom of the clarifying deck now, you know. You cannot pour into anything else unless you are taken care of. And there you are, directly underneath the Star. Right? Shadow cards at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. You need to step back from this situation and replenish your own cup, because this is depleting you. This is very wounded energy, a lot of this, and this is incredible emotional turmoil. I'm so sorry, Libra. This seems like a whole heap of unpleasantness, for the want of a better word. So best of luck with everything, Libra, and I hope that you find the time to look after yourself properly. Well, I shall leave it there, and I shall see you in December.